Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. This is my first time speaking, so I'm really excited. And I hope you're just excited with me to join the Notes conference this time. And so my topic is on the type safe graph with Neo4j and Prisma. And before I go in, I just want to briefly introduce myself. So right now I am undergraduate studying at Purdue University as a computer science major. I'm going to graduate next spring, and I've been TAing and doing some like software engineering projects, and that's how I learned about Neo4j. And also, I started like a little project on Prisma, but I wasn't really familiar with it. But when I started playing with Prisma, I figured out like, oh, it's going to be fun to make a project with Neo4j and Prisma. So here I am. So just some context. So in order to probably kind of follow along like what's going on, you would need some really rudimentary basic knowledge of what's Neo4j, basically how to create, read, update and delete. And then for Prisma, some of y'all might not know what is Prisma, but so it's basically just a ORM builder for Node.js TypeScript. So usually developers have to write like actual SQL, or like how Neo4j we have to build our own queries. So using ORM build libraries, you wouldn't need to do that. And you can just allow developers to just interact with the database through the objects and whatever classes or objects that they have made. And then right now, Prisma supports PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQLite, and MongoDB. I think they're gonna support more database in the future, but as the time when I started this project, Prisma doesn't have any support for Neo4j. And the only way for you to do anything that's remotely similar to Neo4j is to use PostgreSQL and then use a different library in order to make changes to any of your Neo4j instances. So I thought it's probably going to be fun to make a library that connects both things together. So yeah, here I am. So the NPM module right now is really new, but it's really just a really simple like middleware library that you can use on Prisma. So initially when I first implemented it was just a middleware using the depreciated Prisma middleware API, but you can still use it if you want. And when they released the extend operation, I updated it. So now you can use it with the expand operation. So yeah. And how the library works is the Prisma middleware API or the extend operation passes in some parameters that you can use, and also the model. So I extract information from the model and the parameters, and then I basically just build the cipher query based off it, and then using the connection that you would have to initialize beforehand, and then you can execute the cipher query on the Neo4j instance, and then you'll be able to execute the instance. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna jump into the demo right now because that's like the huge chunk of it. So let me just jump out of it. And then, so before you need to, so I already created a project beforehand. So I won't be able to go through like the actual start of like how you initialize Prisma, or like going through an entire project from scratch because there's some problems with my NPM package, but I'll fix it. But I can roughly show you how it's going to look like if everything is successful. So here is my Prisma library. So usually Prisma, what it has is it has its own schema. So here is where you can model your own object. So here I have a user object, and then my extended profile of the of the user, and then I can make posts. So basically, if you want to look in like SQL, it's basically just like a table for user with fields where you can have your ID, email, and name. And ID is like the primary key. So, and then this is my URL. So I'm having like, these are not good practices. This is not good practices, but this is just for demo purposes, just for the sake of the demo. So, and then what you can do is in Prisma, you can install the Prisma Neo4j extension package. And then in here, you can you have to first initialize. So this is also not good practice, but I'll be deleting the Aura instance after this. So yeah, so here I have I'll first have to call the driver init, which initializes the connection driver to Neo4j, and which I also have it on here. So here, yeah, I have an Aura instance just for the sake of simplicity. And then in here, I can call Prisma and call the extend operation so that before the Prisma executes its own thing, I can figure out like what was the operation and what's the mode and what's the argument. And then in here, I will be creating my Cypher query and executing it onto the Neo4j instance connection. So yeah, so an example is going to look like if I want to create a user. So let's say I just change this into Bob. And then I have a name Bob. So then what I can do, and then if I execute this, right, okay. So now if I go back to my Neo4j and I refresh this, yeah, you see that I have two users, Bob and Alice, which I was doing this before. Yeah, and then let's see if we can do like other. So here's my the REPL, and then there are not a lot of supported operations that you can do yet. Like the filters are not fully supported yet. But if you want to yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, so yeah, I will update the npm because there are like more things that I can do, which I can show you, which I won't be able to show you today, but hopefully I'll be able to update the repo and I'll be able to show it in public. But yeah, it was a pretty simple demo, just like a sanity check of how the package like. Yeah, so and then the lesson learned and moving forward, that the plans for the package. So making an npm module is not easy. So just besides developing the module, I have to learn like the basics of like creating like an npm like package itself, because all of this while I'm just installing dependency is not making one. So that was a pretty good lesson to learn how to do it. And then also the how to keep updating the latest packages, because like before this, like Prisma, they only have like a middleware API, which I was been following to develop the package. But then the NPM, and then they updated to depreciate the middleware API. And then I had to use their extend operations, which I was able to update it. And then and then moving forward, I want to implement the other advanced Neo4j and ORM operations. So right now, the ID from Prisma is not supported yet. And then the Neo4j filters are also not supported yet. So right now, all it works is the CRUD operations. So I want to figure out like how to do that, and also try to maintain the npm package, because there are like some bugs here and there that I have to fix, and I want to make sure that the package is working fine and ready to go for other developers to use it. And that's basically it from me. Yeah. And I will take questions, even though I haven't shown much, but I'll take questions if you guys have any.